Hello and welcome back. Everyone, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I invite you to pause and take a deep breath because what we're about to explore is not just another conversation about dating or relationships. This is a conversation about you. Imagine waking up to a silent morning. There are no texts lighting up your screen, no social plans pulling you out the door. For many men, that kind of silence feels unsettling, maybe even painful. Society has taught you to believe that if no one is reaching out, you're somehow falling behind, that your worth is tied to constant connection, to being seen, to being validated. But what if I told you that this silence is not a punishment? What if this stillness is in fact a doorway, one that leads to something deeper, something transformative? In today's video, we're going to look closely at why the longer a man remains single, the more potential he has to reshape his life from the inside out. We'll explore how solitude, though often feared, can become your greatest teacher, your most powerful ally. Stay with me until the end because together we'll uncover how facing silence, stepping away from the need for approval, and learning to walk your own path can transform not only how you see yourself, but how the world responds to you. Let's begin this important journey and remember the man who learns to stand alone is never truly alone. He's standing in the strength he's been building all along. Number 1, the power of silence and self-discovery. Silence has a way of doing something few other things can. It forces us to confront ourselves. In the modern world where we are constantly surrounded by noise, distractions, and the constant hum of activity, silence is often seen as uncomfortable, even unnerving. We fill every moment with sound, whether it's music, conversations, or the endless scroll of social media, anything to avoid the stillness that lies within. But when all of that is stripped away and we are left alone with our thoughts, we encounter something far more powerful than we could ever have imagined, the truth of who we really are. For most men, silence doesn't just expose the void of external noise, it amplifies the noise inside their heads. It magnifies the quiet anxieties, unresolved regrets, and unspoken fears that we often don't want to acknowledge. It's easy to keep ourselves busy and distracted, keeping the noise of the world at arm's length so we don't have to face the truths we buried. But silence, true, raw silence, doesn't give us the luxury of hiding. In these moments, we are confronted with everything we've been running from. In silence, we face the parts of ourselves we have neglected for years. We begin to think about the decisions we made, or the ones we didn't make, the relationships that slipped through our fingers, the chances we didn't take, and the promises we broke to ourselves. We replay past mistakes and regrets, often feeling a sting of bitterness, disappointment, or shame. Silence in these moments becomes a mirror, showing us the parts of ourselves we'd rather not acknowledge. But it's also the catalyst for growth, the uncomfortable but necessary space in which we must do the work of healing. What many don't realize is that most men don't actually fear being alone. They fear the things that come up when they are alone. The absence of distractions allows us to hear the voices inside our heads, the voices of insecurity, doubt, and self-criticism. These are the echoes of our past, reminders of who we think we are or who we used to be. And they often feel loud, overpowering, and impossible to escape. It's easy to become overwhelmed in these moments and feel as though we are failing or unworthy. We might feel like we are not enough, that we will never be enough, or that we are stuck in a never-ending cycle of self-sabotage. But that is precisely the point of silence. It reveals these feelings, bringing them to the surface where they can finally be examined. The real challenge, however, isn't in facing these uncomfortable truths. It's in how we respond to them. Most men, when confronted with their own discomfort, retreat. They go back to what they know, what feels safe, whether it's diving back into work, mindlessly scrolling through social media, or surrounding themselves with people who keep them distracted. The discomfort is too much to bear, and they escape it at all costs. But true growth only happens when we choose to stay, even when it feels unbearable. It is only when we remain in that silence that clarity begins to emerge. As we sit in the stillness, wrestling with the echoes of our past, something remarkable happens. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, we begin to realize that these feelings, the ones that seemed so all-encompassing and consuming, are not who we are. They are merely echoes from our past, fragments of a story we've already lived. In time, we come to understand that our mistakes don't define us. Our failures are not permanent, and our fears are not our identity. We are not the sum of our regrets or the limitations we once placed upon ourselves. We are something far greater than the voices in our head, and the silence shows us this truth if we allow ourselves to hear it. As we embrace the discomfort of silence and sit with our own thoughts, we gain the clarity to see ourselves more clearly. We begin to understand that those negative thoughts, the insecurities that rise to the surface, are not permanent fixtures in our lives. They are fleeting, temporary, and not the true reflection of who we are. In the stillness, we are able to strip away the layers of self-doubt and recognize that we are capable of change. We can see our potential not through the lens of our past mistakes, but through the quiet clarity that emerges when we stop hiding from ourselves. Real growth doesn't begin with external validation. It doesn't begin with the accolades, the applause, or the external praise we often seek from others. It doesn't start with a new diet, a new book, or a motivational podcast. True growth begins in the quiet moments, when we stop running, stop filling our lives with distractions, and start listening to the silence. It's in those moments that we can finally hear the truth about who we really are and what we are truly capable of. We are not defined by the noise of the world around us, but by the stillness that lies within. When we face the discomfort of silence and sit with our own truth, we open the door to growth. We begin to rebuild from within, understanding that the quiet is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Silence forces us to reckon with our past, but it also provides the space to create a future we can be proud of. It's through this stillness that we can connect with our true selves, unfiltered, unmasked, and free from the noise of the world. And in that silence, we find our power, our clarity, and our path forward. In silence, we stop running from our insecurities and instead face them head on. It's in that raw, unguarded moment that we truly start to heal. Silence is not a void. It is the fertile ground in which our growth begins. It is where we rediscover our strength, our potential, and our purpose. When we stop hiding from ourselves, we unlock a deeper sense of understanding. And it is in this space of quiet reflection that we are able to transform not just our lives, but the way we see ourselves in the world around us. And number 2, breaking free from the invisible. Addiction to approval in the modern world. We are constantly surrounded by the pressure to be seen, to be acknowledged, and to receive affirmation from others. Many men wake up each morning not because they need information or to start the day with purpose, but because they feel the invisible pull of their phones. It's not about checking the weather or the news, but about seeing if anyone has noticed them. A text, a like on social media, or a comment on their latest post. All of these are tiny yet powerful validations that shape how they see themselves in the world. These small digital gestures of affirmation have become a cornerstone of self-worth for many. The need for approval, though subtle, becomes an undeniable force that begins to infiltrate every area of life. It's the voice in your head that urges you to perform, to act in ways that make you more likable, more accepted, more visible to the world around you. Over time, it rewires how you approach relationships, work, and even your own thoughts. You might start saying yes when you really want to say no, laughing at things you don't find funny, and remaining silent when your honesty could have sparked a real conversation, all because you fear rejection or disapproval. This creates an invisible prison. Your walls may be decorated with compliments and affirmations from others, but inside, you feel lost, stuck, and disconnected from who you truly are. The danger lies in how this need for approval grows over time. You begin to believe that the only way you can be happy or successful is by garnering external validation. This constant seeking of approval chips away at your identity, and you lose touch with the person you used to be. You become trapped in a cycle of self-performance, constantly modifying your opinions and actions to fit in with what others expect of you. Over time, this transforms you into a version of yourself that no longer feels authentic. You start to question whether your decisions, your words, and even your very identity are truly yours, or if they are merely a reflection of what you think others want to see. The problem with constantly seeking validation is that it keeps you disconnected from your true self. While you may receive compliments or approval, they don't feed your soul in a meaningful way. They provide a temporary high, but they leave you empty once the feeling fades. And yet, the more you chase after those little nuggets of approval, the more you feel that you need them to feel whole. You've built your sense of self on a foundation of other people's opinions, but deep down, you know that this isn't sustainable. The more you perform for the world, the further you drift away from your authentic self. The path to breaking free from this cycle begins with a simple stop, constantly checking your phone. It may seem like a small thing, but putting down the device that has become your lifeline to external validation is the first crucial step in reclaiming your own sense of self. Instead of reaching for your phone when you wake up, try simply waking up to the world around you, engaging with the morning, stretching, and setting intentions for the day without the need for immediate validation. It's about disconnecting from the external world for a few moments each day so that you can reconnect with your inner self. The next step in the detox process is even more challenging, but equally important. Stop adjusting your opinions to fit in. Many men bend their beliefs, opinions, and even their actions in order to be liked, to blend in with their social circles, or to be accepted in the workplace. But this constant adjustment only serves to bury your true voice, the one that speaks with authenticity and conviction. Instead of tailoring your opinions to suit the moment, start asking yourself the hard question, am I doing this because I truly believe in it? Or am I doing this because I want people to like me? This question is powerful, and by answering it honestly, you will begin to peel back the layers of external expectations that have shaped you into someone you weren't meant to be. The more you confront this question, the clearer your true self becomes, and the more you will begin to operate from a place of authenticity rather than approval seeking. The withdrawal phase is often the most difficult part of the detox. You will likely experience discomfort as you let go of the need for constant validation. There will be moments when you wonder if people will still like you, if your opinions will still matter, or if your actions will be rejected by those around you. It's natural to feel uneasy during this phase, but this is when the real transformation begins. As you sit with that discomfort and allow yourself to experience it without seeking refuge in external validation, you will begin to hear your real voice, the one that has been buried under years of seeking approval. The discomfort will fade, and you'll find a new sense of freedom, one that comes from knowing you are enough, just as you are, without needing anyone else's validation to feel whole. As you emerge from the withdrawal phase, a powerful shift will occur. You will no longer perform for approval. Instead, you will stand firm in your own identity, rooted in your truth, and aligned with who you really are. This shift is subtle but profound. You won't need to demand respect or attention because, in embracing your authentic self, you will naturally draw the respect of others. The people who genuinely appreciate you for who you are will gravitate toward you, and the approval-seeking behavior that once controlled your actions will become a distant memory. By choosing to detox from the need for approval, you stop living your life on other people's terms. Instead, you begin to live according to your own values, desires, and beliefs, no longer driven by the need to please others. You will experience a newfound sense of freedom, Your confidence will be grounded in who you truly are, and you will no longer feel the pressure to perform for anyone. You will stand tall in your own truth, and in doing so, you will attract the kind of people who see and appreciate the real you, not the version you've been performing for. In time, the toxic cycle of approval seeking will become a thing of the past. You will learn to trust that your true self is enough, and you will start to experience a deep sense of peace and self-assurance. Your presence will shift from one of seeking to one of being yourself, being true, and being unapologetically you. And that, my friend, is the true power of breaking free from the invisible chains of approval. It's the freedom to be who you are without fear of judgment, and to live a life that is fully aligned with your authentic self. Number 3, clarity through solitude, rediscovering yourself. In the chaos of modern life, where every moment seems to be filled with some form of noise, be it the ceaseless hum of technology, the pressure of social obligations, or the weight of expectations, solitude often feels like a rare commodity. But it is in these moments of quiet that true clarity begins to emerge. When the external distractions are removed and the world falls away, a space of stillness opens up, and within that stillness, clarity begins to speak to you. Solitude is not the same as isolation. While isolation can leave you feeling disconnected, lonely, and adrift, solitude is restorative. It is a chance to strip away the excess of life, to let go of the layers built up by other people's expectations, societal pressures, and the goals you may have unconsciously adopted throughout the years. It's in these quiet moments that you can begin to truly hear yourself, to reconnect with the person you were before the world told you who you should be. In solitude, you are left with yourself, your true self, without the distractions of what others think or what you think you are supposed to be doing. This is the crucial time when you start asking the questions that go beyond surface-level inquiries. The noise of everyday life often fills our minds with superficial concerns, deadlines, chores, social obligations. But when the world goes quiet, the real questions come up. What energizes me, you ask? And you realize that many parts of your life may have been shaped by outside influences, goals that were never truly yours. You begin to realize that perhaps you've been chasing someone else's dreams, whether they be the expectations of a career, relationships that no longer serve you, or the desires that were never truly in alignment with your core. As you spend more time alone, you also begin to ask, who do I become around certain people? And do I like that version of myself? This question may be uncomfortable because it forces you to face the versions of yourself you've created to please others, to fit into roles that were never really yours. When you step away from the constant noise, you see the pieces of your life that are out of sync with your true desires. This realization can be both liberating and daunting. You start to understand that, in many ways, you've been playing a role in your own life rather than living authentically. One of the first signs that transformation is occurring is when you develop the ability to say no without guilt. Prior to this moment of clarity, you may have been afraid to say no, fearing rejection or the disapproval of others. But solitude allows you to rediscover your own boundaries, and you begin to understand that you no longer need to apologize for protecting your energy and your time. You stop tolerating shallow connections, whether they be in relationships, friendships, or work environments. You begin to recognize the value of deeper connections, those that nourish you rather than drain you. As you continue to cultivate this sense of clarity, you find that you no longer feel the need to explain yourself to people who will never understand. In the past, you may have found yourself constantly justifying your choices, seeking validation from others to feel secure in your decisions. But solitude reveals to you that your path is your own, and the opinions of others no longer have the same weight they once did. You start making decisions based on what feels right to you, not to please others. It's a profound shift that changes the way you approach life. It's no longer about seeking approval, but about living in alignment with your own values. The transformation doesn't stop there. The longer you sit in solitude, the more intentional you become. You no longer move through life on autopilot, just trying to get through each day. Instead, you begin to live with purpose, with a sense of direction that feels deeply rooted within you. You begin to understand that every decision you make, no matter how small, is a reflection of the life you are intentionally building. No longer are you merely surviving. Now, you are thriving, making choices that reflect who you truly are. This intentional living leads to a deeper sense of inner peace. The constant tug of war between external expectations and your inner desires starts to quiet down. You no longer feel torn between what you think you should do and what you truly want to do. The clarity you gain through solitude becomes a guiding force in your life, helping you make decisions that bring you closer to your authentic self. You start to trust yourself more, knowing that your path is yours to define. What begins as a simple act of seeking solitude to recharge transforms into a life-changing journey of self-discovery. It's in these quiet moments that you gain the space to rediscover your true desires and passions, to reclaim the parts of yourself that may have been buried under years of societal pressure and external influences. Solitude does not make you feel small. It helps you realize the vastness of who you are and what you're capable of. Over time, this transformation deepens. You begin to walk through life with a new sense of purpose, no longer lost in the chaos, but grounded in your own truth. With this clarity, you find that you no longer have to fight to be seen or heard. You simply exist as yourself, and that is enough. Your decisions, your relationships, and your actions all begin to align with your values and your core beliefs. Solitude has a way of stripping away everything that doesn't serve you, leaving only the essence of who you truly are. It's in this space that you reconnect with yourself, that you start to live with purpose and alignment. You no longer need external validation because you found it within yourself. And in that peace, you gain the confidence to live a life that feels deeply fulfilling and authentic. This is the true power of solitude, the ability to rediscover yourself and move through life with clarity, peace, and purpose. In the end, the journey of a man walking alone isn't one of loneliness or despair, but rather one of powerful transformation. When the noise fades away, when the distractions are gone, and when no one is texting or calling, you're left with something that may feel uncomfortable at first silence. But within that silence lies the opportunity for something greater. You are finally face to face with the one person you've likely been avoiding, yourself. The man you see now is not a product of the opinions, validation, or noise from the outside world, but rather the person you've always been beneath it all. True strength is not about filling the silence with noise or forcing yourself into someone else's idea of who you should be. It's about sitting in that silence, embracing it, and realizing that you don't need anyone's approval to know your worth. The man who walks alone does not move through the world in a state of weakness. He walks with purpose, clarity, and a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. He's not waiting for validation because he has already validated himself. He has already chosen himself, and that is the most powerful position to be in. Embracing solitude is not an act of giving up, but an act of taking back control. It's about letting go of the constant need for external affirmation, whether from social media, from women, or from society's expectations. When you stop seeking approval, when you let go of the constant need to prove yourself, you finally get to live in alignment with who you truly are. In the stillness, clarity emerges. You start making decisions that are in line with your own values, not with the desire to please others or fit in. You stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand. You stop tolerating shallow connections that drain you. You begin to live with purpose, to walk in alignment with the man you know you're becoming, not just the man others expect you to be. The process of transformation can be uncomfortable at first. It may feel like something is missing, that the quiet is a void you need to fill, but that's the illusion. The quiet is not an emptiness. It's an invitation to meet yourselves. It's a chance to rediscover who you are, who you want to be, and what truly matters to you. And when you embrace that, when you allow yourself to grow in that silence, you'll begin to see the power in walking alone. So, if you find yourself in a season of quiet, don't panic or feel lost. Embrace it. Lean into the discomfort, because it is in that space that you'll do the most important work of all, the work of reclaiming your own strength, your own clarity, and your own sense of purpose. The man who walks alone is not broken or abandoned. He is rebuilding himself, refining who he is, and moving through life with a kind of quiet strength that cannot be duplicated or faked. He moves with intention, with confidence, and with a deep knowing that he doesn't need to wait to be chosen because he has already chosen himself. Now, Traj, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced this shift in your life when you embrace solitude and stop seeking validation from others? How did it change your perspective on yourself and your journey? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This isn't just about entertainment. It's about growing, evolving, and building the kind of strength that lasts. Let's continue this journey together. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, the silence is not your enemy. It's your greatest opportunity. See you in the next one.